Alright, so we got Gardevoir Redesigns Part 4. Are y'all good? Okay, and the intro is empty. Okay, who is in charge of the intro?
Your function has come to terms.
Well, what do you mean that was my job? I'm just here to do the voice.
You wish.
Oh, come on, you... Alright, everyone, welcome back to part 4 of my Gardevoir Redesign Challenge series. We're on to the second half. The back 9, we passed the halfway point. It's the third quarter. And let me tell you, we've got some personal favorite bangers of designs coming up for you in this episode. Usually, this is the part of the show where I explain what's going on, but I trust that if you don't already follow the series, that either you go back and start at the beginning, or pick it up as we go along. But anyway, with all that said, please join me as we begin with type number 10. Flying type. Just before we actually start with flying type, I just want to throw out there that, fun fact, there are only 4 pure flying type Pokemon. I always start the drawing process with a bit of a look through the current Pokemon of that type, and just to get a feel for what they've already done. And I did like 5 double takes when the entirety of the pure flying types fit onto my screen at one time. That's never ever happened. But anyway, let's try and get back on track by discussing some elements to avoid. I had a pretty long think on this one, let me tell you. Coming up with something that flies without wings is a lot harder than you think. And it took me a while. But eventually I landed on the idea that this Gardevoir would be based on Hermes. Now, Hermes is used somewhat interchangeably with the Roman god Mercury, and is known to be the son of Zeus, protector of travelers, and most notably, as I mentioned earlier, the main communication point between the gods of ancient Greece and mankind. To implement this look on Gardevoir, I went with some more traditional classical Greek outfits. You can see I've done the golden wreath around the head, tying in references to his caduceus. It's this, like the staff with the 2 snakes going around it. That is called the caduceus. And the talaria, which is the winged sandals that he's often depicted wearing. And I had also discovered when sketching that I thought it would be really cool to include 2 little snakes on our Gardevoir as well. It just kept it fun because it also ties reference to the caduceus. I thought it'd be super fun to give him 2 sidekicks, so now we have Hermes and Mercury, the 2 snaky boys, joining us for the ride. Now with all that settled, please prepare for the grand arrival of Gardevoir, the messenger Pokemon. Next in line, we gonna have number 11, Psychic type. Alright, time to tackle one half of OG Gardevoir's typing, Psychic. Alright. Colors to avoid, usually it's going to be pink. They're pretty good about keeping it mixed up, but I do oftentimes see a lot of pink, either light pink or darker pink. And I had to change my ideas with this one a couple of times. My first 2 ideas were either to create like a Buddhist monk sort of Pokemon or a magician Pokemon, but I realized that Psychics already have a lot of similar ideas. And especially with, Scarada having their category name be the Magician Pokemon, that was a really sealed the deal on that one. But eventually, I came to the decision that I was going to make a Fortune Teller Gardevoir. So kind of in that same vein, but with a specific concept that hasn't been covered by Pokemon yet. It's not my most unique idea, I guess for sure, but it surely can be easily recognized as a Psychic type. For colors, I know we already discussed that pink is going to be pretty much off the table. And I don't know if you count magenta as being part of it, but it looks very cool when compared to the lavender purple of the skin, and then stripes of gold as well. As you can see, we've done on the legs. And then if you pair it with the unexpected green, usually green doesn't pair well with a lot of things, but for our use case, I think it works really well. And of course, if we're gonna have a fortune teller, we have to give her a crystal ball, letting us know that this Pokemon is gonna be able to see into the future. Oh, and what does Gardevoir see in her crystal ball today? She sees a subscribe button. Maybe you should go change your future and subscribe to Pac-Man 10. It's in your hands now. That was extremely cheesy. I apologize for that. And as we finish up here, let me introduce you to Gardevoir, the Scry Pokemon. After that, we fly into number 12. Bug type. Just a quick disclaimer and a little bit of a heads up. Bug type is generally considered as the worst type. Bug moves are not very effective on, I think it's 7 different types. And bug type Pokemon are usually going to have the lowest base stat total out of any Pokemon in the game. We're here to change that. We need some leaders up there besides Genesect that can actually challenge competitive play. And also, this is the part of the show where I run out of script, so we're pretty much going to be winging it from here. So I was looking through bug type Pokemon for elements that I should avoid using, and I decided that wings were off the table for sure. And then as well for legs, we have a bit of freedom. Bugs can be pretty good about mixing up their legs. We have some 4-legged, 6-legged, and a bunch of spider Pokemon who don't actually have 8 legs, so that was a little bit weird. We're gonna kind of make this Gardevoir like Muffet from Undertale, where she's got her 2 legs, but then also 6 hands, but they're still able to crawl like a spider. So if you kind of get my drift on that one, you can kind of envision what we're going for initially. I wasn't really sure what to do for the spider mandibles, I guess is what you call them. But I decided to incorporate them into the hair a little bit of Gardevoir. You see it wraps around the front, and you know how Gardevoir's hair already has the little swooshes on the side? But we just extended that out and then put the little hooks on the end. And that creates the perfect effect while still leaving the mouth open for any details that I wanted to put in. That was really cool. You can see for the eyes, we had to mix it up a little bit as well because most spiders will have 2, 4, 6, or 8 eyes. So we did the traditional 2 and then 4 little ones along the bottom. But then they'll have 2 on either side of their head. And as we finish up with this one, we are going to welcome in Gardevoir, the aristocrat Pokemon. And I think this is something I'm going to have to do every episode now, but the signature ability for this episode is going to fall here. And for this one, we have Noble Gaze. Now this ability is going to lower the foe's speed stat and make them flinch on the same turn. So it's like Intimidate, where it lowers the attack of the opponent whenever it comes into battle, but also it is going to make them flinch on the same turn. But it gives you a massive attacking advantage when your opponent switches in and can't do anything the first turn. And that is the end of this episode. Thank you for joining me on part 4 of 6 on this Gardevoir redesigns journey. Please enjoy this bit of extra bonus content, and I will see you all around.
We're breaking free.